From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, Milford Police are investigating the town's first homicide since 2020. The latest in the investigation as police are asking for the public's help. A hit and run kills a cyclist in Dover. Photos released of the alleged vehicle involved and the police asking for the public's help. And an event was held in Georgetown today, reminding shoppers that the plastic carry-out bag ban goes into effect July 1st. These stories and more are coming up, but weather first with meteorologist Hunter Outen.
Hello and good Monday afternoon, Delmarva. What a contrast in weather conditions from this time on Friday to now Monday. Friday, we had some pretty significant storms across areas of Wicomico and Worcester counties that produced some large hail and even some damage to the Ocean City Airport with temperatures well into the 90s. But the weekend was just absolutely fantastic. The cold front came through. We had much lower humidity, much cooler temperatures. It didn't even feel like the month of June for the most part, and that's even continuing even into this afternoon. Taking a live look outside of TV Delmarva Studios here in Georgetown. We have clear skies for now, but clouds are on the increase as we head into the evening hours tonight, and we're still keeping those cooler temperatures as well. Currently only 78 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at satellite and radar. We still have plenty of clear skies here across the mid-Atlantic states, but if you look over towards the west in areas of Ontario, we do have some clouds that will be on the increase throughout the overnight hours tonight, and as well as some rain chances for your Tuesday. Let's have a look at those conditions elsewhere on Delmarva this afternoon. We're still dealing with some wonderful conditions out there for the most part. Currently 78 degrees in Salisbury and Pocomoke City. We're only 68 right now in Ocean City. 77 for Easton, near 80 in Centerville, 78 in Dover, 78 in Wilmington as well, and currently 77 degrees in Newark. With the constant wind that we've seen over the weekend and even today, we've been seeing some fairly dry conditions out there. Current humidity values are under 30%, pretty much region-wide, and that is definitely the recipe for a little bit of some elevated fire danger. And speaking of fire danger, we do have a pretty nasty wildfire going on across areas of southern New Jersey. That is the Wharton State Forest Fire seen from satellite, which currently has taken up 7,200 acres of the wildlife in that area. But hopefully the good news is it is about halfway contained right now, and with rain chances over the next 2 days, hopefully firefighters can get an edge on this fire and begin to extinguish it as we get into the middle portions of the week. Winds, though, have been a little bit on the stronger side today, generally from the north and west, sustained about 7 to 14 miles per hour, but we have been seeing some wind gusts get as high as 15 at times. Currently gusting to 12 miles per hour in Georgetown, 13 for Salisbury, 12 miles per hour right now in Ocean City, 11 for Easton, 13 for Dover, and currently gusting to 15 up north in Wilmington. Now, we do have some rain chances for your Tuesday and even some isolated thunderstorm chances by Wednesday, but we do have a slow but steady warm-up for the rest of this week, getting back to a little bit above average towards this weekend. I'll have all the details regarding that in your pinpoint weather forecast here in just a little bit.
Delaware State Police have released the identity of a man killed in a Friday morning crash near Milford. Investigators say the crash happened just after 5:30 in the westbound lane of Wilkins Road east of Elks Lodge Road. That is when 28-year-old Latrey Bonville of Magnolia left his lane and went off the south edge of the roadway and struck a signpost. He then hit a large tree, coming to a stop. Police say Bonville was not properly restrained and was pronounced dead at the scene. The crash closed the road for 3 hours while officers investigated the scene. A 12-year-old passenger was also transported to the hospital for serious injuries. Officers say she was also not wearing a seatbelt. The crash remains under investigation. Also in Milford, police are investigating a homicide, the town's first since 2020, and in the same area. On June 17th, officers were called to the 100 block of Brightway at the Brightway Commons Apartments just after 10 p.m., where a 34-year-old victim was found with several gunshot wounds. Now, emergency personnel attempted to save the victim, but he was pronounced dead on the scene. During the investigation, detectives learned that the victim allegedly got into an argument with a group of people. Investigators say that is when the victim was shot. Milford Police say the incident is currently an active investigation. Anyone with information should contact Milford Police at 302-422-8081 or Delaware Crime Stoppers at 800-TIP-3333. Dover Police are asking for the public's help to identify the driver accused of fatally striking a bicyclist on Saturday night. Investigators say the incident happened in the area of South Governors Avenue and West North Street around 10 p.m. when a 71-year-old victim suffered fatal injuries from the hit and run. Witnesses reported an SUV involved in the crash and fled northbound on South Governors. Officers were able to obtain a surveillance photo of the alleged vehicle, which you can see here. Anyone with information is asked to contact Dover Police at 302-736-7130 or Delaware Crime Stoppers, and again, that number is 800-TIP-3333. Well, officials with DNREC were at Redner's in Georgetown today, passing out reusable bags and reminding shoppers that the state's ban on film carry-out plastic bags would go into effect on July 1st. Now, they were joined by Georgetown State Representative Ruth Briggs King and State Senator Brian Pettyjohn as they passed out free reusable bags. DNREC Secretary Sean Garvin was also at the event.
We've been doing it throughout the state. July 1st, the plastic bag ban goes into effect, and so just a little reminder, folks, that they need to start, taking alternative steps for their groceries, and so we're reminding them by actually giving them reusable bags.
Redner's Public Information Officer Eric White says shoppers at their stores actually get a little bit of a benefit for bringing their reusable bags.
The nice thing with eco bags and any bag that we use at our store is any bag you bring back, you're going to get a 3-cent bag refund, which is something we've always had in place.
Now, if you're like me and still getting in the habit of using reusable bags, here's some tips to help. DNREC staff says you can keep empty bags in your vehicle in case you are forgetful or still getting used to that habit. Hang them on your door prior to leaving for the store as a quick reminder. As for keeping them clean, the cloth ones can be washed with laundry or wiped down with sanitizer wipes or cloth. Stores that need assistance with compliance to the update bag ban can contact DNREC's recycling program at 302-739-9403. You can also email recycle@delaware.gov. Well, Delaware Republicans held a call to action meeting on the flurry of bills introduced at Legislative Hall for what they say is circumventing the state's constitution. The bills focus on gun control measures and mail-in ballots in the first state. State GOP Chair Jane Brady spoke about the concerns the party has on these bills just 6 legislative days before the end of the session.
You may recall, those of you who have been on the call to action before, there was a bill, HB 75, that would have amended the Constitution to put everything about voting in the hands of the General Assembly. They believed a constitutional amendment was necessary to do that. They believed it was necessary to even do no excuse absentee voting. They've changed their mind. After I filed that litigation, I believe the theory based upon which they're going to defend against that lawsuit is that the General Assembly has the authority to decide these issues based on the manner and method language that's in the Constitution. Of course, our legal position is that that's within the parameters of voting in person on Election Day, unless you have these 6 reasons why you can't.
We'll be talking to Pete. We'll be talking to Valerie Longhurst. We'll be talking to Larry Mitchell and see if they could. I'll do that personally when I see them Tuesday. Anyway, you cannot let this out. They'll probably smile and laugh, but it's quite a serious thing, and there's going to be some problems with this, and I'm concerned about the Department of Elections and the time involved to do this.
Yeah.
Here we are redistricting, and they've got to figure out how to pull. I met with the RD from the 38th, and we have 11 election districts now that we have to come up to staff, and they're not really sure where all those are going to be voted yet. And so they've got all that on all 41 districts plus the senatorial districts. And then along comes this vote by mail. It is going to be quite a task for the Department of Elections to do.
Brady confirmed to those in attendance today that the GOP party would seek to sue if these bills are signed by the governor, who has signaled strong support for every bill so far. Well, President Joe Biden and wife Dr. Jill Biden are vacationing in Rehoboth Beach this weekend for Father's Day. And what's now going viral, a video shows the president following off his bike while going for a ride.
Dr. Biden, how was your anniversary?
Now, President Biden was helped up by a Secret Service and said he was good. The president apparently got his foot stuck in a pedal strap while attempting to stop and chat with bystanders. Well, coming up, today is Juneteenth Day, and Black Americans are not only celebrating the event here in the United States, but abroad as well. A visit with some of those Americans abroad as the news continues. Well, as the United States marks only the second federally recognized Juneteenth, Black Americans living overseas are sharing the holiday and fostering communities outside of the United States. But this is not a new tradition for everyone. President Joe Biden moved quickly last year to federally recognize Juneteenth, a day Black Americans have been celebrating since the final enslaved people were told they were free from Galveston, Texas, on June 19, 1865, 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln's 1863 Emancipation Proclamation. In Bangkok, a group called Ebony Expats organized a dinner at a Jamaican restaurant serving jerk chicken and pumpkin soup. Restaurant owner Colin Clifford McCoy served 20 years in the U.S. Army before eventually opening his restaurant during the pandemic in Thailand. He says the Juneteenth holiday is a chance for Black people to share their culture while being so far from home, American or not.
Various different people coming in, not just American people or American, Black American. He is, I guess, we find each other, we reach each other, and I think it's especially so when we're away from our home-based countries. It's like we find each other, like, hey, let's get together. It's kind of like just a natural thing that occurs.
The group also organized a silent movie screening of Black Panther at a riverside bar. Well, it was a windy but pleasant weekend. At least the sun was out, but some rain possibility is in the forecast. Let's get a preview of your pinpoint weather forecast with meteorologist Hunter Alton.
Clouds will be on the increase throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening hours, with our next chance of rain in the forecast going into Tuesday morning. We also have another burst of rain chances that are expected during the mid-afternoon hours for your Tuesday as well. And we will see a steady but slow increase in those temperatures all the way into this coming weekend with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. So how much warmer are we looking to get this week? I'll let you know when we come back here on TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the pinpoint forecast for the overnight hours into the day on Tuesday. Even though we've seen such a nice, dry, and fantastic weekend ahead, we do have some chances of rain going into the day tomorrow. But for the overnight hours tonight, we will be definitely noticing an increase in those clouds, and we'll be becoming mostly cloudy to even full on cloudy skies. But good news is we're still going to be keeping those comfortable temperatures around of 60 to 65 degrees, but the winds will be switching directions coming from the south at about 5 miles per hour. Take a look at Futurecast rest of the overnight hours into the day on Tuesday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. Definitely a big difference in cloud cover here on the shore just before sunset. Temperatures are in the low and mid 70s with mostly cloudy skies. Going into the heart of the overnight hours, temperatures will be falling down into the lower 60s for the most part, still keeping plenty of cloud cover here across areas of the mid-Atlantic states. But waking up tomorrow morning, it might be a little wet in spots where we're going to be looking at some isolated to scattered showers coming from the north. Heading into the area, temperatures warming up upper 60s to about 70 degrees as you head out the door. But going into the early afternoon hours, we're still going to be looking at Plenty of cloud cover across the area. May see the sunshine here and there, but temperatures will be warming up into the low and mid 80s. And then by the mid-afternoon hours, another burst of precipitation will be moving from north to south, and that could be keeping things wet for that commute on the way home, with temperatures in the upper 70s to about 80 degrees. And then by the time we get to 10 o'clock at night, we're starting to break up the clouds just a little bit. All that precipitation is well off of our coast by that point, with temperatures falling down to near 70 degrees. Take a look at the Tuesday forecast overall. We got the chance for some scattered showers off and on throughout the day. Temperatures right where they should be for this time of year. Definitely warmer than it has been the last couple of days of 82 to 86 degrees, with some light winds from the southwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Take a look at the allergy index for your Tuesday. Going to be looking at some medium levels of pollen, which is very typical now since we are out of the peak of allergy season. 5.2 out of 12 on that scale, and your top allergens being from grass pollen and plantain. Now let's take a look at the beach conditions for your Tuesday, beginning with the Atlantic. Watch out for the chance for those scattered showers. 72 degrees, winds from the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, with seas of 1 to 2 feet. And when that sun does happen to shine here and there, that UV index is still quite high at about a 10. Take a look at the Delaware Bay. Scattered shower chances, 71 degrees, winds from the southwest at about 10 miles per hour, with seas of less than 1 foot expected. And then the Chesapeake Bay, scattered showers, definitely warmer at 81 degrees, winds from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and seas of less than 1 foot expected as well for the Chesapeake Bay region. Now, as we get into the overnight hours tomorrow night, we're going to be decreasing clouds a little bit, but still going to be fairly cloudy for the most part, with partly cloudy skies. And once again, comfortable temperatures will be settling in. Overnight lows of 65 to 68 degrees, with some light winds from the south between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Now, with the summer solstice being tomorrow, why are we seeing such cool conditions over the past couple of days? And that's all thanks to something known as the Omega Block. And this is how it's being set up across the country here. From this morning, we do have straight northerly flow here across areas of the eastern U.S., and that's just allowing a lot more of that Arctic air from the polar regions to continue to move into our area. But across areas of the Midwest, where that big dome of high pressure is, has been sitting there for the past couple of days, really cranking up the heat out there. And that's taking the jet stream and throwing it way into Canada. And over on the west coast, we're going to be looking at another trough there, which is why they call it the Omega Block, because it resembles the Greek letter of Omega with a jet stream pattern. Now, over the next couple of days, that ridge will begin to retrograde westward, and pretty much everywhere across the country is going to be seeing some warmer than average conditions. Only just a little bit, and especially in our neck of the woods here, as that jet stream is basically right on the border between the U.S. and Canada to finish out the rest of this week. Take a look at that extended outlook low. You can definitely see the little bit of slight warming throughout the next several days. We still have some rain chances going into Wednesday as well, some of which could be looking at maybe an isolated thunderstorm here and there with temperatures in the lower 80s. But to finish out the rest of this week, we're going to be warming up ever so slightly every day with a chance of partly sunny skies. And then by the weekend time period, we're in the mid and upper 80s with partly sunny skies, with the next chance of rain for the start of the new work week on Monday, with high of about 87 degrees.
Thank you, Hunter. Coming up, Dover Comic-Con was held this past weekend. We take a look back at the festivities when we come back. Stay tuned. Well, this past Saturday was Comic-Con, held in Dover around Legislative Hall and the Dover Public Library. Hundreds of people gathered for a day of cosplay and costume contests, as well as visiting with several vendors. There were anime viewings, food, pop culture, cars like the DeLorean from the Back to the Future, panels, and more. There was also a gaming tournament that was also available, and it looked like it was a fun event. Even some of the Android guests from the Star Wars universe showed up. There's R2-D2. The event is held every year in Dover and was pushed up to June in hopes of a cooler day, and it was a good move because the weather was picture perfect for the event.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's weather lesson, we will be talking about Microburst. A microburst is a localized column of sinking air or downdraft within a thunderstorm and is usually less than or about equal to 2.5 miles in diameter. Microbursts can cause extensive damage at the surface and in some instances can also be life-threatening. There are two primary types of microbursts, one being wet microbursts and two dry microbursts. We're going to be talking about the most common type, which is known as wet microbursts, which are accompanied by significant precipitation and are very common during the summer months here in the United States. It all starts with the development of a thunderstorm and the water droplets and hailstones being suspended within the updraft. Now, sometimes an updraft is so strong, it keeps the large amounts of these droplets and hailstones into the upper portions of the thunderstorm. There are many factors that can lead to evaporational cooling and therefore weakening of the updraft. Once this occurs, it is no longer capable of holding the large core of rain or hail up in a thunderstorm. As a result, the core then plummets to the ground, and as it hits the ground, it spreads out in all directions. The location in which the microburst first hits the ground experiences the highest winds and the greatest damage overall. Now, wind speeds in microbursts can reach up to 100 miles per hour or even stronger, which is equivalent to an EF1 tornado. Winds this high can cause major damage to homes and other structures and level hundreds of trees in its path. It is very important that you take severe thunderstorm warnings just as serious as tornado warnings, especially for these kinds of events.
Time for a final check of the forecast. Hunter, the potential of rain, hopefully not the severity we saw in Ocean City over the weekend. We'll cross our fingers at least.
Oh no, we won't be seeing anything like what Comico and Worcester counties experienced on Friday with that rogue, destructive thunderstorm that damaged the Ocean City airport. It's going to be more in the way of a spotty shower and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm through Wednesday before our slow but steady increase in temperatures for this upcoming weekend.
All right, thank you, Hunter, and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. Hey, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at TV Delmarva and our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and updates throughout the day. I'm Jonathan Mastrana reporting for TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. Have yourself a great evening.